for the end of the first hour. James from Orlando's got a question for Larry. James, you're on air with the Magic Mechanic.
Hey, Larry, how you doing?
We're doing great, James.
Good. We've had this Buick for about 10 years, and the temperatures always run around 210. It never fluctuated. And we found out the mechanic said it had a leaking water pump. We noticed the temperature go up to about 220. It wouldn't overheat. It would just go up. So we had that replaced. But we went to South Carolina the other day, and you're going down the interstate about 70 miles an hour, and the temperature would go up to about 220. But as soon as you slowed down or you put in a rest stop or an exit, the temperature would go back down to normal.
In most cases, James, if you have a vehicle that see, when you're out on the interstate, you got to think of it like this. Even if your electric cooling fan was not working, you've got just the force of the air at that highway speed being forced through it. So technically it wouldn't be a fan problem or anything that had to, none of the accessories or electronic components that's got to activate to cool the cooling system down. It kind of eliminates all that. Usually when we get one like that, it's usually a restriction in the cooling system. And the most common place for a restriction in the cooling system is usually a radiator. It's over time, sometimes if coolant hasn't been changed properly as the vehicle aged, especially GM coolant, it can get sludgy, and that stuff will start plugging up the lower part of your radiator, and next thing you know, there's enough cooling capacity in the radiator at low RPMs, but when you're at a higher RPM, it's just not got enough capacity left in order to cool that coolant down. So it makes a big difference. You can get by with a restricted radiator at low speeds and idle speeds, but if you get into a situation where you're constantly running, at 1,800, 2,000 RPM, then a restricted radiator, that's when they'll show themselves, and that's when you'll see that there's actually a problem with it. Has the radiator ever been replaced in it, James?
Not that I know. Not in the 10 years we had it. So
yeah.
I doubt it ever had. They checked all the fans and stuff.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where, the radiators nowadays, they're not that expensive. An aftermarket radiator for your car isn't that big of a deal. That stuff we replace every day, and it doesn't break the bank as long as you don't take it back to the local dealership.
I found that out with the water pump.
Yeah. You got a 10-year-old vehicle. There's no warranty on it. To take it to a dealership, pay almost twice as much as it would cost at an independent shop that's got mechanics that's been in the business longer than the kids that are in the dealership. You got to look at it like that. I mean, it's just, you get a lot more talented technicians in your independents in most cases. There'll always be usually one or two guys in the dealerships that's been around for a while, but most of them are just younger guys. They ain't even broken in yet. So, but find your talents. The talented techs, you're going to find them in your independents that's been around a long time. You get guys that's been in there working on this stuff for 40-plus years. There's not a value that you can put on that. But, under the circumstances in your case, put a radiator in it. It's not going to break the bank if it doesn't fix it, but I have a good gut feeling that'll probably take care of it. Thanks for your call, James. Have a great weekend.